a cover song played at the place that I co-run. It's all original, so the art on the walls, photography, like how is anyone creative when they're like this? How does anybody go, pull up my bootstraps and go take care of this? I've got to do this. Some people might have that fortitude, but myself, I realize that someone who's got 2, 3 small businesses and friends and a pretty good situation, I couldn't keep my mind straight about this stuff. And eventually, I think on the last day, I spoke to Adam and some other Pathway to Potential folks and said, I feel primal. What I'm feeling is this sense of survival. What am I gonna do? Like every meal ended with this next thing I'm gonna eat. That was it. Like I couldn't concentrate on the stuff that makes me happy, the stuff that I enjoy doing for customers, for the community, for whatever. Even trying to consume news or take in other information is tough. So yeah, kids in school not eating, you can't learn. You can't even run things that you run normally. You forget to turn the heat off at night when you go to work. Like you forget things you should remember because this is overpowering. This is day 3. I'm talking about day 3 of this food challenge. I'm not talking about 6 weeks, and I'm not talking about people who don't have the luxury of saying, this is done in 4 days. I'm talking about someone who knows this is all going to be done soon. And I'm not exaggerating, and I know that the people who shared that experience said the same thing in their blog posts that week that I read. So being an energetic, attentive father was difficult, clearly. How do you do any of the normal duties that you have to do? So, in closing, thinking about your day, thinking about my day yesterday, and how tough it was, and not getting emotional. Can you imagine if your day started taking your little son or daughter who's newly walking to the mission? Because you have to. Because their health, their survival relies on it. I don't have bad days really much anymore. They're on a sliding scale of great, essentially, because of knowing what else goes on. And I think that the overarching message of today, besides sharing this experience, is that putting things into perspective. I would gladly, happily challenge all of you to do the same thing for 3, 4 days. They even had cheats. Like you could cheat and have 5 cheats or 3 cheats. You could have a cup of coffee, or you could use sugar or peanut butter. I didn't use any of those, but these cheats, they don't exist for a lot of people. They don't have this stuff to fall back on. And the idea of my daughter being excluded because of her food situation, socially not being able to say what's on her mind and say what's in her heart, or participate because of her food situation, it's heartbreaking. And the fact that she's changed me since having her to a point where I think about people differently. Like this person was in another person for 9 months that had to eat well, that had to come out with the bathing and the diapers, and they reach a point and you can't feed them, and so they can't participate. This is just criminal. This is insane. This is wrong. And to ultimately close, I think that this social barrier, this thing that I can connect with, is something that we can all focus on when we think about why people are where they are, or why we're not hearing more stories. Why we're not hearing more stories that are from the varied parts of the community that you see when you drive around the city, but you don't hear anything about it. There's a pretty good reason for that social aspect of hunger or poverty and being excluded through your means. And I'm leaving today a little early, unfortunately, because I have to go to a funeral. This is no sob story. My aunt was sick. She passed away recently, a few days ago, and I'm sitting here listening and kind of taking a deep breath after a busy few days and realizing that I really didn't know her. very well at all. So my dad's last surviving sister on my father's side. And I realized today, flat out, like no question, the reason I didn't know anything about this woman was because she lived in poverty. She did live in poverty. She had an impoverished situation. And that's rough. That's rough. That's going to be tough to handle because this is stuff that we can deal with within our own families. And I think that's where it starts. It's like our own situations, our own families. If we can break down those barriers, try and talk to people, try and get those stories out, especially for storytellers, that we got to do that. So thank you for your time. Sorry about lagging on, but yeah, let's start with our own and take care of each other, I think. Thank you.